Okay, and here we go. All right. Ready?
Do it.
Good morning, everybody. This is Lawrence Kazan-Cassini in Florida and Dan Burke in Pennsylvania, Friday, March 19. And as usual, the most important mantra is the slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. Augmandino. So today we're going to talk about three parts of mindset which are important. The first one is willing to ask, be willing to ask for help. The second one is know your triggers. And the third is know that you're not perfect. So those are the three subjects we're going to talk about today. So Dan?
Yeah, so we talk about mindset a lot. We talk about, fixed mindset, growth mindset, action mindset. We can kind of create a mindset for anything that we're willing to, any goal that we're willing to work towards, or any success that we want to see in life. And a lot of things that I've done in my life, I've been presented with opportunities have been maybe just outside my reach of what I thought was possible for me, but I still persisted in those endeavors. And so it all boils down to mindset and how you're willing to think about what is available to you, what your abilities are to reach goals and be successful. And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Three of the things that are important to think about when you're looking at your mindset and success and failure.
So one of the things is, I was never ready to begin something because when I lost everything 3 times, I've mentioned that before, but I was never ready to say, okay, well, I've lost everything, so now I'm ready for something else. It just happened. And it was a way that I had to find a solution. And necessity demands actions. And the fear of failure is bigger than the dream of winning. So in my case, it was a question of obviously looking at something that I hadn't thought about, because it was a sudden change, and because of war zones and what have you. So obviously I had to ask people, I had to find out what was going on, but it was that fear of failure in my case that was bigger than the dream of winning. And that was my first reaction to it.
Yeah, so I don't think it's, as you said, they just happened and they just fell into your lap. When you have that mindset that anything's possible and you're not willing to fail, and when your fear of failure is bigger than being successful, I think you look at those opportunities as what they are. They're opportunities. I don't think they just happen. It's a consequence of your mindset. And some people, they may be outside of their comfort zone, and they may not be opportunities for some people because they don't have the right mindset. But even though you've lost everything 3 times, and then you're presented with these opportunities, it's all about looking at those opportunities in the right light and being more scared of failure than being successful. And so I don't think those things just happened for you. They were created, those opportunities were created because of your mindset. And so, and your willingness to step outside your comfort zone. And so when you're willing to do that, when you're willing to look at those things that are maybe just outside of what your experience is or what your capabilities are, it's in those moments that the greatest amount of growth occur, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to be successful in that environment. And so you're willing to learn, you're willing to ask for help, you're willing to look at what your triggers are, and you're willing to accept that even though you've embarked on this journey with these goals and to be successful, that you're never going to be perfect, and always striving to be as close to perfect as you can.
Yeah, and it's an action mindset, and it's to be able to adapt. And the willingness to ask for help, the first thing is remove the ego, leave that outside. And sometimes when you're forced into a situation, or when you have a situation like maybe you've lost a job or the situation's changed or COVID or whatever, then the ego is something that is no longer predominantly at the forefront. And that eliminates the fear of embarrassment or rejection when we ask for help. So the courage, it takes courage or lack of ego to be able to bear ourselves and to ask for help.
Yeah, asking for help, a lot of, it's not a limitation. It's actually something that you can do to improve your position. And so a lot of times just to take big steps, you have to be willing to take big action. And sometimes being able to take big action is asking for people for help. So when I got into this business, I knew nothing about nutrition. I knew it was important. I knew nothing about the biophotonic scanner. So, when you first get involved in this business, you need as much help as you possibly can. And for 3 months of joining this business, I resisted the help and resisted asking for help for those specific reasons that Lawrence mentioned. My ego was getting in the way. I thought, I have 25 years of medical device sales. This is going to be easy compared to that. Just letting all of those things get in my head that were holding me back. But once, about 3 months in, once I got to a point where I realized that I needed to put my ego on the back burner, that I needed the help, that I needed to know about the tools that we have available to us, that's when I started to see success. And so, a lot of times asking for help and putting your ego aside is going to help you achieve that success and reach those goals that you want to reach.
Yeah, and that's going from a fixed mindset of a job where you've got security and you've got everything going, to an action mindset, to something completely new and scary. And it takes courage to do that, to be able to, to move forward. The big thing is that we've got something that is already established, and we know what we're looking to get into, because it's already established. It's not like some uncharted waters. So you've got to ask for help for that. And in our case, that's where we eventually have a team. And the team automatically is there to help each other. And this is where it's a team sport. It's like playing any kind of a game. It's a team effort, and we can ask for help in wherever we are, because we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same environment, the same business, the same boat that we're in, and therefore it eliminates all of the mental cobwebs that we've got about, oh, I wonder what he'll think if I ask for his advice or her advice, or so on.
Exactly. And part of putting that ego aside and asking for help is finding the people that are going to give you the best results, and asking the right people. So, what I did was I looked to the business leaders and started asking them questions. And, any book that you read on this topic will tell you the same thing. You want to look to the business leaders and ask them lots of questions and learn from them. Learn from the people that have been successful in this business. And so don't do what I did and wait 3 months or 4 months to get those mental cobwebs cleaned out and start asking for help. If you need help, and this is something that you can pass along to your team, you're there to help as a leader on your team, and they should use you as a resource. And so that's one of the first things that I tell folks when they come on board, and when I'm kind of onboarding them to the system that we use, is that all I want them to do in the beginning is have a 30,000 foot view conversation with their prospects, and then bring them to the table with myself and some of the other business leaders, and let us talk to them about what we have. And that's how you're going to learn. And so through asking for help or just accepting help, that's how you're going to learn about this business, learn about the tools that we have available to us, learn the talk tracks that we use, and the references that we provide to folks that we're talking to about this business.
So this then leads to the other thing. Know your triggers. I always ask people 3 questions. Who are you? Which is a very complicated reply. How well do you know yourself, and what do you want? And one of the things that comes into that sphere is know your triggers. So in my case, it's the excitement of the deal. What if I can do this? What if I can really get to the top of where everybody else has already achieved? What if I can do better? So that excitement of the deal is what triggers me. And I remember I just briefly mentioned, it's not about weighing up and having paralysis by analysis and all this kind of stuff. I don't do that. I was in Thailand. I lived there for 3 years. And at that time, I remember they were burning the husks after they harvested the rice. They would burn the rest of the husks, and it was fires everywhere. And so I thought about it, and I thought, wow, what a hell of a waste of energy. And at that time, they were using briquettes for in tobacco to cure the tobacco. So I thought about it, and I went to look for some engineers, and I thought about an idea, and I thought, what if I find a design, not me, but the engineers, a machine to take all of these rice husks and to compress them into briquettes so that we could use those in the combustion of the barns for the drying of the tobacco. And I started doing that because I saw a need and I saw a problem. And the excitement then was, how high can I go? Same thing was when there was coal. We were using coal lignite, and there was like a 40% loss of lignite from which is like coal, because it's not so strong and not so hard, compacted. It would become powder. And there were mountains of this stuff, and it would auto combust with the rain and so on, and start the fire inside. So I went to the mining company and I said, I will only charge you a little bit to get to take away all this powdery carbon. And I again got another whole bunch of engineers, and we set up another machine to make briquettes from the powder that had come from the lignite. I'm just trying to say that it's not something that I was looking for something new. I just saw an opportunity. I saw a need. And then what triggers is, what if? What if I can? What if I can do this? And that is the rush that for me is the same in this business. What if? What if I can, get 500 scanners by the year 2024? For example, I'm just using some ridiculous number, but what if we can? Yes, we can. So that is what I think is the thing that you must know. We should know our triggers. What really makes us trigger? What triggers us?
And I think when we're talking to people about this business, kudos to your 3 questions about, who are you, how well do you know yourself, and what do you want? Those are some of the triggers that we need to find in people that we're talking to about this business. If are they looking at this from a purely financial standpoint? Are they looking at this from a leadership, or reaching goals, or just stepping outside their comfort zone and doing something different? I talk to a lot of medical device sales reps every week, and the common theme is that there's a lot of unhappiness right now in that arena. There's a lot of instability. There's a lot of volatility, declining commission rates, and which creates unhappiness because they've created this business, and then now somebody's coming and taking half of their commission away for something that they built over the last 10-15 years, and there's really nothing that they can do about it. I signed on with a company at one point because they threw out a bunch of perks. They were going to provide a car allowance, they were going to provide us a computer, they were going to pay for our cell phone. And 6 months into it, after we all signed the contract, they ripped all that stuff out from underneath us, and there's nothing we could do about it. You know, all those perks that made us all sign on the dotted line, they took away, and there was nothing we could do. So, you know, that created unhappiness and instability for us. You know, people were all automatically questioning whether they made the right decision, and if that was something that they should, you know, look into maybe switching companies or moving on. And so there, you know, with that instability in the market, I think we need to talk to folks about what's their trigger. Why are they thinking about leaving med device, or why are they thinking about doing this as a side gig with their med device? You know, I talked to a big distributor from Oklahoma last night, and, you know, his trigger was, I don't want to be in the operating room anymore. You know, it's a waste of my time. It's, the money's not there anymore, and I'm spending the same, if not more money, more time. So you know, my trigger is, it's not, well, for him, it wasn't necessarily financial. It's, for him, it's looking for a way that he doesn't have to stand around in the operating room all day. So just having a personal conversation before presenting the opportunity can help you figure out what those triggers are for some of these folks. And you know, obviously for yourself, figuring out what the triggers are for you to be successful in this business, and why you want to continue to do this business. For me personally, if, you know, when you look at the data, when you look at all the documentaries that are being done, all the books that are being written on nutrition and how important that is to helping prevent disease and become healthier, live longer, all of these different things, I want to share that with as many people as I can. And so for me, the trigger is, you know, helping people become healthier. You know, it's not necessarily financial. And then there's, obviously, I'm a driven person. So my other trigger is, you know, placing as many scanners and being as successful in this business as I can.
You know, Dan, you just said helping people and not necessarily financial. It just made me remember that actually when I was in Colombia, I remember there was a huge unemployment, there still is, huge unemployment statistic. And I thought about it, and I thought, if it's difficult for people that are okay physically to get a job, how about people who are physically challenged, you know, parallel gifted or physically challenged, handicapped? And I put an ad in the paper, and I found there were about 450 people replied. And then I saw that there was a shoe factory which was renewing all of its equipment. So I bought all the equipment from the shoe company that was renewing. I got all their secondhand equipment, and I set up a shoe factory, and I put only people that had physical challenges, handicapped people that come in crutches and wheelchairs and what have you. So I didn't think of the profit or the loss. I only saw a problem that I thought I could solve. I didn't have any fear of losing or a dream of winning. It was something that triggered me about helping people that I thought I could be instrumental, and in fact I was. And we eventually exported like 12,000 athletic shoe, you know, slippers for athletes. But I'm just trying to say that the trigger is in each one of us, and each one of us has the trigger to be able to find something of excitement in whatever we do. What we've got to do, as in Pharmanex and New Skin, is to be able to show the unlimited possibilities that we can have, that everybody can have, by achieving their goals and by achieving maybe a financial well-being, time, freedom in some ways, like Scott. Scott's a typical example. I mean, he's got 6 kids. I think he found out what was causing it after a while. He got 6. But he's still now able to spend his entire life doing whatever he wants with his six kids, you know, taking them skiing, being at home with them, and so on. This is an ideal life that he's managed to carve out for himself. So it's something that really has unlimited possibilities, and it's something that we could do. So that's, you know, when you mentioned helping people in this business, we can help them and help them make money and help them with their time.
Each one of us, you know, whatever our trigger is for this business or any other endeavor that we may be involved in, you can get whatever those triggers are for you out of this business, right? We have the ability to help people become healthier. We have the ability to help physicians make more money, which in turn is going to to potentially lead them to seeing less patients because they've now got this additional source of revenue, which leads to them practicing a better, higher quality of medicine, which creates a better relationship, patient-physician relationship. So there's a lot of different positive things that can come out of this business, and it's all about mindset, creating that mindset for solving those triggers that you have, or getting those whatever your triggers are out of this business for you and the others that you bring into the business. And I just want to reiterate, when I said my goal is to place as many scanners as I can, it's not just to place scanners for the sake of placing scanners. It's seeing how many scanners that are productive that I can place, right? And when I place those scanners, doing everything I can to make sure that they're productive.
Exactly. So the third thing that we had on this mindset thing was accept that you'll never be perfect. So we think about that, and we think, we've got to score 10 out of 10. Well, accept failure and learn. The Dalai Lama actually said, we live in a state of unsatisfactoriness. If somebody steals something from you, thank the thief. And I say, what? Yes, thank the thief. He taught you something. So from my take on that is, boldly allow yourself to mess up. The mistakes you make will not only teach you far more than your wins, but they'll help you build a stronger, more authentic connection with those in your network. So we've got to accept that even if we get one or 2 out of 10 hits, Jim Rohn talks about 1 or 2, and if you get really good, you may get 3, and if you're exceptional, you may get 4 out of 10. So we've got to accept that we're not perfect. We never will be, and we're talking with people who are volatile. We have it's a mind. It's difficult to. It's not a fixed thing to do. So, we've got books like Go for No. We heard one of the author last week. Just strive to be better every day, because we're dealing with unpredictable humans. We will never be perfect, and we've got to accept that and embrace that and know that. Just learn from it.
Yeah, failure is a necessity for success. We talked about that last week. Failure is a necessary evil, if you want to say, to creating success in your life, because what that does is to become more skilled in anything, you have to make mistakes. You're not going to be successful from the first step to the 10th step. You're going to make mistakes along the way, but when you make mistakes, you have to be willing to figure out what went wrong and how to fix them, right? That's an important piece of the process. And so success is important, but more so, failures are more important than actual success, because that's what's going to teach you to be able to fix what you're doing wrong and ultimately achieve success.
Absolutely. So anyway, as a sort of a parting shot, because it's almost on time, is to say we for an entrepreneur like myself, it's actually been very difficult to follow a system. Even today, when they say, make a presentation and here's the outline, for me, that's painful, because my mind is not, it's not like that. My mind is like creative, and let's go forward. So but we have a system, and it's a very good, proven system. And we've got people the leaders who have actually shown us the way. All we've got to do is use the points we mentioned about before, and follow a system, and be able to create this teamwork in this, all rowing in the same direction at the same speed at the same time. And through through a progressive mindset, we can power through our discomfort of restraint as an entrepreneur. For me, it's the system is a restraint, but follow it. That's the way to do it.
Absolutely. And, following that system, accept that you will never be perfect. You're going to make mistakes along the way. Reach out to other people in this business and ask for help. And, we talk about it all the time. Being disciplined and being consistent is very important in this business while following the system that we have in place. And reminds me of a great quote, a great Jim Rohn quote, which is, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Right? So, to reach those goals, you have to take action. And as a result of that action, you're going to see success.
That's fantastic. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Perfect. That's nice. I like that.
All right. Well, it's 10 o'clock.
Any questions? Anybody got anything to say? Please go ahead. Anybody got any add anything to us? Any input? All quiet on the Western Front. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Great call as always.
Thank you, Mark.
Much appreciated.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice weekend.
Thanks, guys.